Smart students always ace their exams no matter what. They just happen to be the most gifted people ever. Do you believe that this is true? Do you think that they live in a fairy tale and they can't fail exams no matter what? Well, to be honest, that's not really the case. Sometimes they do fail exams as well. You may f- you may have even seen them being extremely down sometimes. Exam results are based on a student's skill level and passion, or which is their drive that they have for the exam at hand. Hi, I'm Aku, and I'm from one of the best universities in the world. And today I want to talk to you about how smart students can still fail exams and what we can do about it. I want to ask you, how well can you manage your emotions? Not just in the exam setting, but in life in general. When something upsets you, what is your mindset about it? How do you react? Well, this could be a skill that a lot of students lack. They can't manage their emotions. I'm just gonna cut to the chase. How does one manage his emotions? Well, there's two things you can do. First is to obviously meditate, and doesn't need to be long. 3 minutes a day can really set you apart from some of your friends who still cannot manage their emotions. And number two is to journal about exactly how you feel. Take a piece of paper and have 3 points. Number one, spam everything that is in your mind. Spam all the details. Give no care about organization because this is you talking to yourself. You know exactly what's going on. So number one is to first spam all the details. Then number two, look at what you've written and think, what is the problem? Then number three, decide what the solution will be. Because when you look at the details and you've identified the problem, which is your own thoughts, you will understand the solution to your own problem. So these two things, meditation and journaling, would they easily help you manage your emotions after that because you are going into the root cause of the problem. And meditation just helps. The misconception that people have about meditation is that it's hard, uncomfortable, and it's really difficult. But it's supposed to feel that way. Learning how to be able to handle something like that for just 3 minutes a day is what will help you manage your emotions. And after a while, it's not that bad. Next, I want to talk about skill level and how does a student actually improve their skill level in a subject. Because some students have the wrong idea about this. They think that if they just do questions and get the corrections about the questions, that their skill level will improve. This is the case, but there are certain things you can do that will increase your skill level even more. Every time you ask yourself a question and force yourself to think, your skill level will improve. You can think the brain as like a muscle, and the more you strain it, and the more physically painful your brain feels in a study session, the more effective the study session. This is how it's supposed to feel like. And if you feel physical fatigue from like thinking a lot about a subject, that probably means your skill level will go up because you're spending more effort thinking about the concepts in the subject. Next, I want to talk about time management. Not just in general, where you know how to space out your study sessions and when to do what, but I really mean in terms of the exam as well. A lot of students they get stunned when they see a difficult question and they don't know what to do after that. Or maybe they just try to attempt it for 5 minutes and then they'll move on to the next question, which is what normal people do, which is not bad. But to manage your time effectively, you also have to manage your problems effectively. You should be one step ahead and know how, and you should be able to anticipate problems in the exam. before they come to you. And this can be done in the form of practice papers where you're able to anticipate the fact that, okay, some questions are going to be diabolically hard. What am I going to do about it, and how can I manage my time around those hard questions? Because in one of the module of my courses, my exam strategy revolves around the most difficult questions in the exam. That is my actual strategy on how I tackle the exam. That is my time management strategy. So basically, my time management orbits around the difficult questions. Because in a sense, when I do an easy question, it will be done pretty fast, right, in the exam. And I have symbols that I use throughout the exam that will help me label the most difficult questions so that I can maximize my time for the difficult questions. No, sorry, that's wrong. I maximize my time. I use my time so that I can maximize results. And let's say I don't manage to answer the difficult question. To me, I'll be like, okay, that's fine. I've checked all the other easy questions and I've secured marks from those easy questions. Whether or not I get an A depends on how well I did the difficult questions. But at least I know I'm going to get a B. I will never get below a B. Because if you get below a B, that means there are some easy questions that you failed to answer because of carelessness or because of the fact that you didn't have enough time to check because of the difficult questions. So time management, which is the way I do it, is I orbit around the difficult questions. Not in the sense where I spend a lot of time, but in the sense that I'm focused on the fact that the only thing that can bring me down is the most difficult questions. And that's how I manage my time. And I talk about this in the module of my course. Next, I want to talk about ego. See, I don't think that having positive self-esteem or having pride, in a sense, is a bad thing. Because there's a way to like think good about yourself without it affecting like the way you tackle problems. But the problem comes when you have ego. When you think you're really, really good at something, you may forget the fact that it was skill level and the passion that you had for the exam that brought you there. That is not entirely a bad thing. You can have an ego in a sense if you want. But the problem is the fact that you've stopped increasing your skill level because of complacency. And that will bring your grade down a lot, because over time, when the material gets harder, you will stop caring as much about the subject. And your grade will inevitably go down, because the variables that affect your grade is skill level and the drive that you have for the subject. And if you let ego get the best of you, your skill level will go down, and then your grade will go down. So how you should manage ego and pride? Just think of like you thinking good about yourself as positive self-esteem. And even though you've been doing well, I will still remember the fact that skill level and a passion for the subject is what got me here. And I will continue to use my efforts to improve those two factors. And that is how you tackle ego and transform ego to help your exam results instead of it detrimenting it. You can still have it in the sense that you should transform it into like pride and like positive self-esteem and confidence. You shouldn't transform it into like complacency, because that's stupid. Because your exam results will go down because of the fact that your skill level will go down. Next, I want to talk about exam pressure. Similarly to what I've said earlier in the video, which is managing your emotions and time management, there's both of those factors combined is basically how you're gonna handle exam pressure. Here's my opinion. Let's say you failed the exam, right? That's like maybe might be your greatest fear in the exam. Who cares? Yeah, you failed the exam, what will happen? Maybe you will get upset, your parents will get upset, your teachers will get upset. Yeah, we don't want that. But genuinely, if you fail the exam, who cares? This does not mean, however, that we're not going to put in effort in our exam. But this means that if in the worst case scenario we actually fail the exam, this should be your mindset. Okay, I failed the exam. whatever. I'll find out what went wrong, and then I'll put efforts to improve my result next time. I know I can increase my skill level even if I fail the exam. So in the event I fail the exam, it's okay. That will eliminate all exam pressure you have, and that will give you an advantage over your friends who are still cogged up on the fear of failing the exam. You should have both mindsets, in the sense that you should really care about like the exam, in the sense that you want to improve your skill level and your drive so that you can improve your results. But for a second point, you should also think that if I really do fail the exam somehow, despite my efforts, it's fine. I'll just improve my skill level and I'll get back. When you have these two mindsets in play, when you have the methods that increase your skill level the most, and you have the mindset to think that, okay, even if I fail, I'll still get up. That is the reason why you will get up even after you fail the exam. So to conclude, just you can look back through the concepts I talked about earlier in the video, and it's really about doing things that improve your skill level and your passion or drive about the subject at hand, and ignoring everything else, because these two factors are the main factors that will actually improve your grade the most. And I think you should put a lot of effort in just the two factors. Cheers.